everyone. And
There we
it's
are.
just been that for about 5 minutes or so. We have taken over the stream. We've beat the shit out of Jacob, and now he's making a pie for himself. Um, so I obviously missed part two, Matt, of Jeff the Killer. Can you tell me? Can you tell me what?
What happened last time, what I
Yeah,
can vaguely remember is this is just a recap of the story was he upset his mum by bringing up the fact that his, like, life is falling apart because his mum's life's falling apart because her husband left her because of this book, this tell-all book about Jeff the Killer murder thing, and but he was really, really insistent that his book report was more important than his mum crying about it or
right.
something.
So the kid's a piece of shit. That was good.
Basically, I mean, well, he's appearing in a Jeff the Killer story. He's not going to be
Yeah, no, none of the
in the
characters that
story.
appear in a Jeff the Killer story are going to be the mark of quality, are they?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have the story in
I
up as well?
I have the story in front of me. I have literally no idea where we are because
Yeah,
obviously
can
you
you just
missed it.
post it in the thing? And
All
the
the
chat,
posted
let
thing.
us know. Do our work for us.
So you can't even be bothered to Google Jeff's the Killer
I
Scars
don't
of
want
Greed.
that in my fucking Google search history.
It's going to be in it anyway if I send you this. There you go. I'll send you the direct link. There you go. Hang on. No, I'm not because I've just screwed that up somehow.
Hmm.
Let me paste that again. All right. So me and Matt were obviously just talking about Elden Ring before we came on the stream there, as I'm sure a lot of people are, because it's fantastic. So Matt, definitely going to be the game of the year this year, right?
Yep. Well, I haven't actually played that many games. I've been finding myself playing less and less games as I get older.
Yep, same here, but I've been playing nothing but Elden Ring because it's
Yep.
held my attention for 120 hours now.
I, I'm only at 100 hours, so I'm way
Yeah,
behind.
well, not way behind. You're only like 10 hours behind. Um, what level are you? I'm like 123 now, I think.
100 and
I don't know because I was playing yesterday. I was streaming it.
117. I haven't leveled up in a while, or
So,
maybe.
what are you focusing on? Strength, arcane?
I started off mainly on strength, but basically I figured out like, oh wait, the more you put into once you get past like 20 in vigor, you actually get massive gains in when you get health. So I've been just putting all into health, and I used to have a ton
Well,
of stamina because I was like, oh, heavy weapons,
yeah,
and I
I'm
want
like
heavy
part
armor.
three. Where was part two? I'm sure we haven't done part two.
That
Like, because
you haven't done part two. We've done part two.
you did do a part two then.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why we're in part. This is why it's called. If you look in chat, it's
So,
part
yeah, because
three.
it's part three, obviously.
That's how numbers work, Toby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evil Jake
Uh,
could be like, better make sure I remember to be on time for stream by not being here.
yeah. Yeah, so Jacob apparently started the stream, then realized that he's absolutely fucking starving. It's like, I need to make a pie.
Yeah, best time to do a stream is obviously when you realise that you're about to die from not
Yeah.
eating. So,
And it's like, oh, welcome back, CREEPYPASTA. Sorry, Jacob will be here. He needed to have a very urgent pie emergency.
Evil Toby be like, I better take elocutions lessons so I can speak properly. How's that, piece of shit?
Oh.
And some English bloke.
Oh, yeah, someone about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just reading that.
Yeah,
And Matt was right, beating up the Pope over the body of a space god was pretty stupid. It actually happened.
yeah
I
I,
can't.
I, I remember before I played it, I heard people talk on old podcasts, people talking about it. And I remember the exact words. It was like, yeah, you get into a fist fight with the Pope over the body of Space God, and then he pulls out some shadow clones, and then you use the fucking lasers. And at first, I thought the people were making like I thought they were joking because it was one of the podcasts like us where they just make up shit. I
Yeah,
thought that's
yeah.
what they were doing because that couldn't possibly, Assassin's Creed. I know it's a bit silly with all the Templars and the fucking mind memory and like no, you're fucking fist fighting the goddamn Pope,
The
and he's
goddamn
using
Pope.
ancient laser crap and like this is the sort of reason like and it took them ages. I can't remember how many games after that before they decided just to drop the plot. That whole fucking
Um,
retarded.
so you had Brotherhood and then Revelations and then Assassin's Creed 3 before they decided to drop the plot. So three more games after Assassin's Creed 2 before they decided to drop the plot for everything. Because
Like,
Assassin's Creed 4, I don't even think they have anything on the outside world apart from one bit, maybe at the beginning of the game.
they're just like,
That's
oh,
it.
this Desmond stuff is so dumb.
Yeah. Evil Matt be like, the salad for me, please.
I eat salad.
Evil Toby be like, blimey, I hate our white lemonade.
I'm going to cook these waffles.
I am going to cook these waffles. So obviously we will start doing the story when the Cove gets here, because obviously we can't suffer alone.
Yeah.
And
He just doesn't come back. He's like he went off. He fell asleep or something like that.
It turns out to be a stream where we just chat shit for an hour and a half. I'm sure everyone in the chat will appreciate it.
Honestly, if you're here, then you're not really here to listen to the story. You're here to us to talk and mock the story.
Anyone that missed part 2, the only things that you missed was us stealing Toby's NFT. What? Excuse me? Did he throw it up on the screen? What an absolute arsehole.
Yeah, I've got a copy of it.
What? No, that was my magnum opus there, man. I was gonna retire on the funds I made off of that. I was gonna mint it.
Blockchain though, the blockchain.
Yeah. That deserves to be on the blockchain. Yeah. I will get that on the blockchain. You watch. Here's a bit of news for you. I can't wait to hear what Jacob's reaction to this would be. Call of Duty. You've heard of Call of Duty. You've heard of Call of Duty.
I might have heard of it. That small time game.
Yep, small time game.
Little indie game.
I'm listening in.
Yeah, excellent. You're listening. So Call of Duty Warzone, which is the battle royale version of the game, they've got a new event that's going to be going on in May. Godzilla vs Kong. I'm like, what? How's that gonna? What?
Also, way to get on the fucking zeitgeist of that.
I'm not sure I really give a shit.
No, but I don't really give a shit. But I'm interested. I will say that I haven't played Call of Duty for a while. I'm like, I might have to reinstall it just to see what that's like.
Yeah, you know, like oh, we've got the new event for fucking Call of Duty based on the hit movie Cats vs Dogs. Like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh God, I remember that.
Oh, that was a good film. The first one was a good film. Don't watch the rest.
I just remember a fucking sequel to that movie came out like fucking 8 years later, and it's like, what the fuck?
Hey, Spy Kids got 3 sequels, okay? Maybe even 4.
Were they like 10 years apart?
Yeah. Actually, no, I don't think there was that much of a gap.
Spy Kids brought me up. I remember hearing. I was gonna say, like, you bring up Spy Kids, reminded me of there's a line. I think I told this to Jacob in once. So there's a line in Spy Kids which is what was it? It's like Steve Buscemi says like, I wonder if the reason why God doesn't show himself because he's scared of his own creations or something like that. And it's like a really good line, but it's in fucking Spy Kids.
All right. So chat, where in the story are we? Does anyone remember from the last episode? Because
Except for
Soul.
I
feel like I should do a Sandokan-esque previously. I don't know if anyone ever watched Sandokan. It was a cartoon show, but the narrator used to go, in our last episode, just like that. He loved his job, you could tell. He had a lot of passion for those.
Yeah, that name was so weird. I was wondering, yeah, Jacob, that name was so weird. I thought it was like one of these obscure YouTubes that you're always shitting on.
Good morning, everyone. Who will we be dunking on today?
Yeah. All right, so it looks like we're not going to get the answers from the chat. So someone is going to have to look
in our last episode. You know what? We'll just flick through it and see until we get to a point nobody recognizes.
Okay, so I see Nancy is crying now, and like I said, I remember a fucking. So maybe it was the death of. Was it death of Vestige? Vestige. That seems like a place we would have stopped.
Brzezowski, I just joined.
Yeah, did we like death visits?
Death visits, yeah.
I really can't be of any help. I wasn't there, obviously, last time.
There's all things we could have done before the stream, but we opted not to.
Yeah, obviously. Thank you very much for Peter Milek for the $4.99 US. I wasn't planning on listening to a stream from you guys while finishing a biology project about gorillas, but this is oddly motivating.
Tell us more about Big Monkey.
Yeah, tell us more about Big Monkey.
Is that because
What
if you
exactly is the biology?
If you don't finish your dissertation on time, you're worried you're going to end up like us.
Wildly
It's
successful.
oddly inspiring.
Because I did get my
Do you not want to end
dissertation.
up like those
I
guys?
did get my dissertation in on time, and I still ended up here. So don't be so sure.
It was your entire choice. Like, you could have decided that day, like, no, I'm not going to read this fucking story. Like, be like, no, Matt, don't come over and listen to this fucking Sonic story.
I know.
There is
I
an
get that
alternative
message all the
universe.
time on Instagram of just like, hey, what would you suggest to somebody like starting out making videos? I'm like, don't. My suggestion is don't.
Well,
Step-
we've never
step
even
one,
set
be
out
blinded.
to.
Step one, be
Never
a
even
media
set out
lover to start with.
YouTubers. I don't think, did we? Never even came out to become big time. Well, I wouldn't say big time. YouTubers at all, did we? None of us was ever set out. It was just a bit of fun. Always.
We were on the road becoming massive stars on YouTube, and then PewDiePie screwed up for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you very much, Metroid729, for the $2. There's no message there attached to that, but your contribution is very much appreciated. Thank you very much, my friend. Love the name as well, Metroid. Oh, great games. I was playing Metroid Prime the other day, Jacob, on the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
I was loving it.
Metroid anything to do with Morbius, the living vampire? Because if not, then I'm not interested.
No, unfortunately,
how no one's seen it. I haven't gone to see it. How about you? Have you gone to not see it?
So
I haven't gone to see it. There's only one person I've gone to see it.
I went past a billboard for it the other day, and it was like, see it at IMAX. It was, book tickets now, and it was like 31st of March, and I thought that's probably out of the cinema already. That probably isn't even showing anymore.
Yeah.
It's not playing in Canterbury anymore. It might be playing around here because the cinema's bigger, but it's already down in Canterbury after a couple.
There's
of weeks.
like a massive poster for it on the way to Westwood.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I saw.
Did you feel the urge to draw tears coming out of Morbius's face?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Shattered Degenerates, for the £4.20. I see you did that. And your message is simply beans? Question mark.
Wait a minute, boys. Is this our 420th video? Oh no, I don't know if I can read the story because I'm too stoned.
He's smoking that pie.
Peter Medic, thank you very much for the US $9.99 this time, going up in the world. Okay, technically,
nobody thinks none of us think
monkeys.
Gorillas are actually monkeys. By the way, I just want to clarify
it's just a
that.
funnier word
It's
to say.
just a
They're
word.
apes. You can tell the difference because monkeys
They don't have tails.
while monkeys don't. They are also the largest primates in the world. Tell us more about those apes. So the monkey, return to monkey. Morbius sweep. No, that's certainly a thing.
So, do you guys think that the sequel to Morbius is just going to be called Morbius? Like just with an E?
More, yeah, I see what you're doing there. There's only one person I know who's going to go see Morbius, and that's Steph.
Or maybe there'll be another Jared Leto scandal, and the next one will be called Lesbius, because he won't be in as much.
You know what they should do is they should do a shot-for-shot remake of Morbius, but instead of him splicing the vampire bat, he should do it with a gorilla.
Yeah,
and it can be Morbius the living monkey.
So
because a monkey's funnier word.
Can that be the origin? You know, this is like the origin story of a B-tier Spider-Man character no one gives two shits about. Can this be the when he splices himself with Big Monkey? Can this be the origin of the gorilla-looking kid from Bucky O'Hare?
So, Jacob, where do I find the second part of this episode we're currently doing?
Scroll down and see it said Death Visits.
Right, hang on.
I'm trying to actually find where we were before.
Yeah, I'll send you the link over.
Do you have any idea how long you were talking for after you finished the last sentence? Because I know, obviously, we go on a tangent for like 25 minutes.
I don't know that shit. I'm going to be completely honest with you, Toby. I'm far too busy keeping it real to know that.
Keeping it real and getting slapped in the face.
Entirely too busy keeping it real.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go silent for a minute.
I've got the link,
once I actually find out. Yeah, well, you send me the link, and I will go listen to it.
No, that's the stream key. Don't give him that. I mean, you can have it if you want, but it's not useful to you right now.
I mean, all I'm going to do is end up throwing up Ocarina of Time on the screen. Death Visits. Okay, Matt.
Yeah, because I feel like we got to death visits, to be honest. But
Yeah, so Toby, I know you weren't here for the last one, but we've basically been giving so little shit about this story that we spent even more time than like we will occasionally read the story and we'll talk. We've been mainly just talking shit for these last two ones, rather than actually giving any sort of attention to this fucking story.
yeah, honestly, who cares at this point? And I feel
It's
like
a
maybe
fucking-
I don't think anyone gives a shit. I don't think anybody gives a shit about Jeff the Killer.
Voice. Apparently, I
truthfully.
was there in the second episode because I can hear my voice right there. And yes, we did get to death visits. That's what's on the screen right there. That took 5 seconds. Didn't take very long. There we go. Now we know we were. Death visits is where we were.
But yeah, even just looking at the retention here, it's significantly lower than the fucking mysterious Mr. Enter stream. And who the fuck cares about mysterious Mr. Enter? One I did the other day. So yeah, people care even less about Jeff the Killer Scars of Corruption than they do about mysterious Mr. Enter complaining about not enough World Trade Center bombings in the Big Red Panda movie. So
That's what that thing you fucking sent me was.
I love in the live stream as well that you watched after that of him live streaming something. Who cares what he was doing? There was like a comment that came up calling him out on the Red Panda, and his response to that was just simply, "Oh, if you watch the video, dude, you understand. You know, if you actually listen to what I'm saying, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
no,
And I'm making sense." And it's just like, no,
you still
not
sound
making
like a
sense.
fucking imbecile.
Right? You can watch that many
I just felt
times
like,
without hearing you crack up. It still doesn't make sense. Like, oh, how dare you avoid a really horrific incident that happened in America in your kids' movie? You know, how dare you not involve all these different wars that are happening in any kids' movie? You can say that anytime. It's
Yeah,
doesn't
why
make
were
sense.
they talking about the whatever? Oh, fuck, I don't know what war was going on when Toy Story 1 was coming out.
Vietnam? No, probably
Yeah.
not Vietnam. That was
What?
Vietnam.
No, that wasn't the Vietnam. It was the Cold War. No, that was the end of that. It was
No, it wasn't the Cold War either.
Falklands. Wasn't it the Falklands? Probably.
Yeah.
There you go. Got there in the end. I had to go through two other
pretty
wars
sure the
first.
Falklands was over by Toy Story, considering the Falklands happened when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister.
Well, I mean, that's the closest one, I suppose.
Well,
Matt seems to think I'm just trying to give him answers
What
to
about
that
the
question.
first Gulf War?
Well,
Have we
the
just
Gulf
gone with
War,
that? The
yes,
first Gulf War?
We could have gone with that. Yeah,
Okay.
But the problem is, I'm not clued up on when wars were
Also,
because
the big
Because they
problem,
were never mentioned in the kids' movies.
exactly they weren't mentioned in the kids' movies.
the big problem here, Toby, is we're doing this live, so I can't just say, "Oh, do you want to say We'll do take two, and you can say first Gulf War."
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
Maybe if they did bring up more horrific events in kids' movies.
Honestly, that would massively improve things.
Yeah,
So-
but not every film is going to be like Watership Down.
Several hours later, he was awoken by a commotion from outside of his bedroom. The faded light coming in through the window told Lane that it was late in the evening. Oh yeah, it's Lightning
that's right,
Lane.
it's
That's
fucking
one.
Lane, isn't it?
Yeah, he's it's like, son, you're breaking my heart. It's like, what about my book? No, about the fucking potions. Stop making disgusting drinks on YouTube and get a job, son. None of y'all remember what I'm talking about, do you? But that's okay.
No.
We're going to move on. We're going to pretend that I didn't just crash and burn there and continue. Suddenly a loud crash, followed by what he thought just might be soft cries. Okay, learn to write. That doesn't make sense. The whimpering tone sounded as though it belonged to his mother. Lane stood from his bed and placed his ear to the door. He was now certain that the voice belonged to his mother. Yeah, okay. Belonged to his mother. Meow. And belonged to his mother. Meow. At first, he didn't react. Over the years since her husband left, she'd fallen into bouts of depression, and it was not too uncommon for her to suddenly begin to cry with no apparent provocation. The crashing sound, though, was something new. It had been too loud to be just a simple plate falling and shattering or a picture dropping from the wall. Slowly, Lane cracked the bedroom door open, and could now hear his mother better. She wasn't just softly crying, but rather sounded as though she were begging. Toby, it's a woman's voice. I think it ought to be you.
Freak really gave it some oomph there from my chair. Sorry. Please don't hurt us. Please, just leave. That's
It was the Krampus.
from me.
It's a crossover.
Lane looked around his room for something. Anything he could use to make a really disgusting soft drink, or defend himself. However, yeah, I'm still running with the joke, even though nobody gets it. It had gotten dark outside, and he didn't want to risk turning on his bedroom light and alerting whoever was terrifying his mother, whomever, that he was back there. He didn't have a cellular phone or a landline in his bedroom, and with nothing immediately visible to use for self-defense, his only options were to stay hidden or to go out and see what was happening. He could have likely stood in his doorway and debated this all night, but suddenly his mother screamed, raising her voice from the sheepish tone she'd been uttering her pleas, to a full-on sound of terror and panic.
Stop!
The voice of Nancy carried back to Lane. Lane exited his bedroom and stepped into the darkening hallway of his home. What little light still came through the windows was that dull orange that only late twilight could produce. He was living in Mexico. The house was small, and within a few steps... Why do they do that? It's like, how do we know we're in Mexico? Because it looks like the sun has gone fucking supernova and wiped out the planet. The house was small, and with a few steps, he knew that he'd be able to see into the living room. Still looking around for any means of self-defense, Lane's eyes fell the small wooden stand. Okay, so... Lane's eyes knocked the wooden...
It works there.
So Lane's eyes knocked the wooden stand over, or killed it, actually. Killed it in battle, I suppose is what he means in this context. Lane's eyes fell the small wooden stand. It sat in the hallway of their home. Let's proofread your shit.
Does that make him terrible? Like, he's got laser vision, and he decided not to help his mum.
Yeah. It's like having a shotgun while your girlfriend's being murdered in the shower. Their phone stand, that was never used for a phone since the only jack was located in the living room, contained a small shelf underneath its base. Sometimes his mother would keep her few sewing instruments in there. He knew there was needles and thread. But what he now prayed for, it sounds, again, this guy talks like he's from around here, doesn't he? He knew there was needles and thread. Like, no, it's plural. You can't say what.
You know it.
But what he now prayed for was her sharp sewing shears. They sprung to mind because Lane was told from the time he was a small child that they were dangerous, sharp as knives. Every time he touched them, as far back as he could recall, Nancy felt it was her duty to remind him to be careful. Plot twist, he's going to pick them up and they'll be blunt, and his mum just didn't want him breaking them because he was a clumsy child.
Just like paper, scissors.
What's going to happen there, Jacob, is he's going to his mum's going to be killed, but he's going to pick up the the knitting shears or whatever, and he's going to become Lane the knitter. That's his OC. He's going to sew people to death.
Thank you, Pimp.
The bore people to death with his writing.
I know we normally wait till the end of a chapter to read super chats, but to be honest with you, these chapters are so ball-bustingly long that we'll just do a couple of paragraphs and then check. Thank you, Pimp Demon, for the 50 Norwegian kroner. Welcome back to I Know a Fictional Killer You Probably Don't Know About. Yeah, pretty much. There was a time when Jeff the Killer was famous, but his day in... Sorry, ladies, your day in the sun is over. That's Puppet Steve, if you're unfamiliar. If you're unfamiliar with the deep Chris Bore's lore, that's a line from Puppet Steve talking about the all-female Ghostbusters Lego set. Oh, God, I spent too much time on the internet. All right.
You fucking do. You know all these fucking people.
Yeah, and yet I'm never away from work, really, so it's alarming. How do I do this? I'll be going back to school soon, to a uni course anyway, so I'm not going to have any time to keep up with all the internet trends.
So what's the course for?
I'm not going to know what Darkside Phil's up to anymore. I'm not going to know who the latest lolcow is. I won't know if Chris Chan's written any more letters from prison.
Say ain't so, Jacob.
I know it's crushing, but it's something I must do.
It's gonna be hard. So you're gonna have to wing yourself off of that stuff, you know.
Yeah. It's basically a controlled substance, isn't it? The internet. As silently as possible, Lane opened the drawer, feeling a degree of gratitude at how silently the shelf glided out. Okay, yeah. Sorry, open the drawer. Yeah, shelf. It's not. It's kind of weird. Doesn't really work. Look down. I'm being given instructions by the story now. Okay, look down. I can no longer see the story, so
it's not
looking down was a mistake.
Your own adventure.
Dig this. Yeah, look down. Yep, that's it. What do I do from here? I can know what I'll have to open it up on my phone to read the rest of it. He saw that the long scissors were in fact the drawer. Were in fact in the drawer, thank God.
This entire drawer is made of scissors. It's very dangerous.
Being careful not to make a sound, he drew them out and, with a shaky sigh of nerves, once more began to move towards the sound of his mother's begging. Lane slowly peeked into the room, his eyes growing enormous and his heart freezing in place at the sight before him. His mother, cowering on the sofa, pushed back as far into the backrest as anyone could, was holding her... His mother, blah, 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 was holding her hands in a pleading gesture. She was crying loudly. This sight alone, though, is not what pulled Lane from his former state of cautious fear and into a new state of crippling panic. He'd seen his mother break down and cry many times, especially during the first year that his father left. No, it was the source of her current horror that froze Lane in his tracks. It stood close to 6 foot tall, dressed in ragged clothing with long, filthy black hair.
Here we fucking go.
Hiding one side of its face and a long kitchen knife gripped in its hand. It was tilting its head back and forth. Yes, I too have seen Halloween. Almost as though it was some curious animal trying to figure out the best place to strike its prey first. It would change position before the sofa every few seconds, as though attempting to further torment Nancy. Keep her unsure. Keeping! Come on, man. That's what the fucking verbs on here. Keep her unsure of when and from where it would strike. Lane risked taking another step closer, and suddenly the ghoulish intruder looked up at him. It was at the moment that Lane found himself trapped deeply between disbelief and amazement. I think he means that moment, because the rest of the sentence is missing otherwise. The face staring at him from across his living room was far too iconic to... Go fuck yourself.
Oh my God.
It's
Fuck
iconic,
yourself.
It's iconic.
There are a few things that are iconic in this world, Jacob.
I mean, dare I even say if we were doing a Sonic story, I'd be like, the face was iconic. I'm like, yeah, everybody knows what Sonic the Hedgehog is.
You know,
looks iconic.
I'm fine with that. Mario's face is iconic, uncategorically so. You know, Sonic, everyone knows Sonic. Barack Obama, he's, you know, everyone knows his face.
Oh God, he's gonna drone strike me.
Exactly. But
did you guys hear about? I posted this on Instagram the other day. Apparently, Drake, who is not an actor, by the way, but Drake wants to play Barack Obama in a biopic about his life. Could you imagine the trouble they're gonna have on set with that? It's like, no, Drake, you don't strike the children with your penis. Reset, everyone back on first. Get a different kid. That one needs therapy now. Who are you texting, Drake? Is it a child again?
Why is he not in jail?
I don't know. Why is Obama not?
Because he has the power to pardon himself, so like all presidents.
Right,
so
so
pardons, yeah.
I don't give a shit about any of this. From one side, an almost sane eye locked in. A smile formed as it realised it had trapped Lane
almost
in fear.
a sane eye.
Yeah, who cares? The other side of its face, though, that was something drawn perhaps on the tapestries of hell. That's pretentious.
Oh my God, he's really trying, isn't he? He's just trying to make him sound so scary.
To be fair, when I get to hell, I expect there'll be like weaved tapestries of Jeff the fucking Killer. I think that's probably quite...
You know what? That would be our version of hell because of how much we absolutely despise the cunt. Like, can you absolutely imagine if hell is your own personalized version of hell? Because that's what I think hell should be. If we're gonna be
real world, but if we're
gonna be real world hell here, it's gotta be your own personal worries and fears. I'm not saying Jeff the Killer would be a fear. It would be more of a fucking annoyance.
Yeah, I feel like hell would be annoying rather than scary, and it would be full. Everyone would look like Jeff the Killer and sound northern. Like they'd sound like CREEPYPASTA. That would be everyone. They're like,
I think it'd just be.
I've come to deliver your pizza. I'm like, oh God, I hate your voice, but at least there's Pizza Hut in hell. Oh God, it's got fucking pineapple. Like that's
Jared's on fire. Must be a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's how I picture hell. It's just like, yeah, remember that in one of the Darkland episodes? I'd forgotten about that. Just like, oh, he's on fire. It must be Wednesday.
Yeah,
like the fucking hell dimension. All right. Oh God, this is boring, isn't it? The
Well,
eye
there's a
was
few super chats to
nothing
read.
more. Well, we'll finish this bit and then we'll jump on
Yeah,
super
yeah.
chats if you like. Do you want to read the super chats when I've done this bit? Oh,
Yeah,
we're nearly at the next bit. It's not a new
Yeah,
chapter.
well, yeah,
it's a
we'll-
discussion.
yeah.
It's a discussion about the Lou Woods book. So we'll get to that bit, and then you can jump on the super chats if you want. All right. The eye was nothing more than a milky white bulb. Lane felt that this is what the eyes of some monstrous creature might develop should it spend its life swimming about in the pits of the Mariana Trench, or he's been hit in the eye with a flare gun and he can't see properly.
Yeah.
From the mouth to the eye was a long
Oh, yeah,
field.
I forgot again. This is Burnt Face Man, Jeff the Killer, not fucking French Face Man. It's like,
You're gay. Oh no!
Jeff the Killer's
Come on.
laser eyes will catch her. Oh no, I don't have that power.
I can't
Wait,
wait.
no, I don't have that
for
power. I don't have many powers, absolutely.
I have- I've combined both hot and cold. I call this cold.
The last episode is so depressing.
It's funny though.
It's funny as fuck.
Long-heeled yet still quite pronounced scar. The scar stopped briefly at the blank eye, but began again above the eyebrow, travelling up the forehead and onto the scalp. Lane slowly raised the scissors to chest level, now gripping them with both hands. Understandably, Lane could not overcome the pure shock of finding one of the decade's most... finding one of the decade's most infamous serial killers standing in his living room. Toby, we tried to read the super chats.
Iconic. Yes, let's go back up a few. So, what was the last one that you read? I think it was Welcome Back to Fictional Killer. Yep, there we see you read that one. Thank you very much, King, for the $5. You've just sent a sort of a sticker there of a lemon grab, it seems, doing a trumpet with a little guy following behind. Also trumpeting.
He's just
So thank you
vibing,
very
isn't
much
he?
for
He
that.
booling.
Vibing. I love that. Peter Milik, thank you very much again for the $9.99. Hey Matt, in a past stream, you called yourself a dinosaur hunter. Well, another Englishman who appears in some of my favourite entertainment might just be your arch enemy. His name is Nigel Marvin.
Oh, I remember Nigel
There you
Marvin. He was, before he did any of that dinosaur shit, he used to do stuff with real animals, right? And he was like a shit Steve Irwin. Because he'd get close to animals and they'd bite him and he wouldn't think it was funny the way Steve Irwin did. He was like a crap Steve Irwin.
There we go. And Peter Milik, again, $9.99. In real life, he's basically the British Steve Irwin. Thanks to BBC and Discovery Channel, a lot of people know him as a time-travelling zoologist and prehistoric animal conservationist. Conservationist, should I say.
Well, he's doing a shit job because I've been killing all the dinosaurs. Have you seen a dinosaur recently? Precisely. And I don't want to hear any of that
I'm gonna
fucking-
rotate my microphone because someone complained that it sounds like it's facing the wall, and I might have been a twat and just pointed the mic the wrong way, so I'm just gonna rotate it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pimp Demon, for the 100 NOK. What is that? Can't remember.
I think
Anyway,
it's
thank you very much for
Norwegian
any-
krona. I think.
Norwegian krona, thank you. His name is Casper Social.
I think it looks like
Crocodile?
stoical. I think stoical,
Stoical,
as in
thank you.
stoicism.
Yeah. He's from a story called Legends and Legacy of Locusts Lake. It takes fucking hell. Why can't I read this? It
'Cause you're an
actually
idiot.
pretty good. He would also casually kill all creepypasta the killers at once.
Nice.
Nice. Oh. And thank you very much for doing again for the 50 Korean things. I don't know what's worse,
one more
pineapple
thing.
on pizza or having Jeff deliver it to me.
Well, I mean, if Jeff shows in front of you, you can just hit him in the face with a hammer or something.
That is
Or with
true.
a flare gun. Or a bagel.
Boys, talk amongst yourself for a minute.
But
I'm
what
just
about
gonna
his
go get
bizarre?
my
What about
stuff.
his bizarre inhuman strength? Like, there's been
I'll be back
nothing
in
you
2
could
seconds,
do.
boys.
Kick him in the dick. Also, I don't believe for a second that Jeff the Killer is like 6 foot tall.
I mean, I don't believe it because he's not real. So there's that.
Precisely. He's not 6 feet tall because he doesn't exist.
What used to keep me up? From Chapter 7, Denial and Truth, The Fate of My Brother. What used to keep me up at night most often, what caused me the most regret and pain, was the fact that I slept through Jeff's farewell. I only vaguely remember it now. My brother waking me up, telling me that I was free now, and then him murdering me. Oh, sorry, no, this is a different continuity, isn't it? This is the flare gun. It's the small bagel in Starbucks one. Tell me I was free now.
If we gave more of a shit about it, we would just call it the flare gun cannon.
Yeah, there's the flare gun timeline. There's like Kelvin. It's like the Kelvin timeline. It's just the flare gun timeline.
Yeah.
Man,
You got the
fuck
original timeline and
the Kelvin timeline, by the way. I only vaguely remember it now, blah, 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 blah. I remember feeling annoyed because, well, who enjoys being woken up in the middle of the night? I remember he told me that he loved me and that I was his best friend. I remember saying something like, "Love you too. Let me go back to sleep," or something to that effect. I wonder how much longer we're going to get away with that voice before it's no longer acceptable. When I woke up the next morning, I just got up and...
that's just your Italian voice. It's just as good as Chris Pratt's.
Yeah. I'm Mario. What is spaghetti this?
What?
Mamma mia, you bring great dishonor to the family.
Mamma mia.
Oh god, just the fucking Godfather meeting those two stupid characters we wrote. Bring great honor to my house. I'm John. Hello.
Hello.
When I woke up.
You woke up?
The next morning, I just got up and started my normal routine. It wasn't until I was walking down the stairs towards the kitchen to get lemonade that I realized that house was too quiet. Our mother had always had the television on in the living room during the day. It was almost 10 a.m. and the house was silent. It would still be another hour before I decided to open my parents' bedroom door. The rest of that week is still a blur in my mind. I remember the police arriving. This probably should all be in Lou's voice, shouldn't it? Give it the entire chapter. Just, I remember the police arriving. My parents being taken out. Wrapped in white sheets, I was sure that Jeff had been kidnapped by whoever murdered our parents. Of course, I'd remembered him waking up with his cryptic goodbyes, but when it's your brother, a trusted face you've known your entire life. Oh, you've known your entire life, proofread. It's not exactly easy to apply that person to murder. However, once the murder of Williamson took place, once the tabloids labelled him Jeff the Killer, fire those journalists immediately. Actually, out of a cannon, and then all other journalists. Well, by then it was pretty much impossible to deny. Once Monica Davenport released the Jeff tapes, well, denial was all I had left.
Jeff tapes.
I know.
That just sounds like porn.
At some point, they call it Jeff Gate.
The Jeff tapes.
The Jeff Gate Hotel.
It's trying very hard, and it's not working because the subject matter itself, it's just lame.
I mean, it's shit, but it's also trying to do the uphill task of building around it's already.
If I'm honest with you, it would really work well if the killer was anyone else aside from Jeff the Killer. Like, if you replace this with an original character, this might be better. That's all I'm saying.
Original characters do not steal.
Yeah, I think we went over that last time where it's like the newspapers decide to call Jeff the Killer. Like, yeah, as Jeff the fire the fucking news reporters, because that's the laziest fucking, like, oh, he's killed 3 people, the killer. Like, yeah, he really deserves a title.
After the murders of Keith and Troy, though, well, that was it. Months rolled on into years, and pretty soon Jeff was becoming a forgotten entity. It took a lot longer than that for Jeff to become a forgotten entity, but here we are. By then, I'd been moved from Louisiana. I had family in Texas, an aunt and uncle. They were very compassionate. They understood what I'd gone through because they also had a psychotic brother that murdered their parents, I guess.
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The warning signs were all there.
Every single time a Woods is born, they flip a coin to see
That's probably why I didn't have the third.
They were very compassionate. They understood what I'd gone through. Let me pretty much spend the next year healing. I can still remember sitting up in bed out there in Texas, feeling tears pooling in the corner of my eyes. My greatest fear was that perhaps Jeff was trying to find me, that he needed help. I pictured him waiting around our very short-lived home in Mandeville, perhaps wondering where I was. Those sorts of thoughts kept me up for most of that year. Sometimes a letter would come addressed to me out there in Houston. It would be forwarded to the old address, no return address usually. I would get so excited as I tore it open, convinced that Jeff had found a way to write me. Yes, the despicable murderer. I was really excited to hear from him, to let me know that he was alive. When it would turn out to be a piece of junk mail.
Having great fun. How are our parents still dead? Question mark.
Just some advertisement designed to look like a piece of real mail. My heart would sink and I'd feel that regret creeping back in. Regret for not waking up and talking to Jeff on the night that he left. At the very least, I could have told him goodbye. And murdered him for killing our parents. I can't remember Lane's voice.
Did we even bother with one?
Oh, we always do, but fuck if I remember what it was.
Was it like it wasn't Nelson Mandela? It wasn't what's his name?
You know what that means, folks? It's time to read super chats. That's the jingle, the super chat jingle. Never asked me to sing it again because it was perfect the first time. We'll just use that. We'll use a recording of that every time now. Thank you, Green Exploding Brain, for the $10. Hello, everybody. That's how I imagine you talk, like a game show host. Hello, everybody, and please accept this. Also, Luke, if you are watching this, the Forgotten is a skeleton, not a Reggie. I have no idea what you're saying, but thank you. Toby, would you like to read the others? Because I realised I stole your thunder and you're supposed to read the super chats.
No, you're absolutely fine there, my dude. Don't worry about that. Thank you very much, BioMan12, for the $4.99 US. Hey guys, answer the ground because I'm at work. But take my money in return for the ordeal. I'm sure you're suffering through, though. Thank you.
Thanks, King.
Pim Dimon, thank you very much for the 50 NOK. Krona, that's it. I actually meant to say there are actually many stories, but I messed up. Also, Jeff isn't strong. Everyone is stupid. Very, very stupid. I also agree with that. And again, thank you very much, Pim Demon, for the 20 krona. The Mandeville news had to be the most stupid news. Yes, it did. And Peter Minnick, thank you very much for the $1.99 US. Make Lane sound like Zoidberg. There you go.
Can you do an impression of an old Jewish lobster man?
I can't do Zoidberg, but if one of you boys can.
I am not trying to do an impression of Zoidberg. I will not be able to pull that off.
Toby, you're a saving grace. It always ends up falling to me to do impersonations. I can't do Zoidberg.
Jeff the killer.
That'll do. It'll do. It's close enough. Lane whispered, still holding up the scissors. Jeff looked down. Jeff's in italics for some reason. Looked down at Nancy, his face locked into a twisted mask of insanity, and drove the knife towards her chest. Go to sleep! Shit! Fuck! Bugger! Jeff screamed, suddenly releasing the knife, and letting it fall to the sofa. Lane looked over and saw that his mother had brought the point of her knee directly into the groin of her attacker. Wow, he's just a quick knee to the testes, that's all it takes. Jeff staggered back against the wall, gripping his crotch while still trying. Wow, all of this build-up. Okay, so this is just a prime example of how not to write a scary story, right? So there was all this build-up to Jeff, like his talking about him as if he were a monster, you know, not even describing him as a man, using it pronouns, and just like, oh, it stood there gripping a knife and all this, trying to build this really intense image of this frightening creature. And then he doesn't even get his catchphrase out while cupping his testicles in pain because a helpless woman whacked him in the balls.
A woman in like her 40s to 50s just need him in the dick. Like, this sounds like a fucking prank that we would have done years ago, you know, like for a fucking Halloween episode. This is like, can you imagine basically anyone like Michael Myers or, well, I mean, probably Freddy Krueger, but like, fucking, you know, just like, oh, I just need Michael Myers in the dick, and yeah, oh no, he's falling backwards. I'm expecting it to turn into a goddamn Home Alone skit. Like he's gonna slip over on a fucking roller skate and then like land on all the mouse traps. Like his dad worked at the mouse trap factory, and they just had a crate left over from
Mouse trap factory. I'm gonna be honest, boys. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed at the inversion here. Like, I don't think it's intentional, but the complete inversion here to make Jeff a thoroughly useless character, which he is, but he's not typically written as someone who would just get hit in the balls and cry.
I remember years back in college, Jacob, you told us this Shaggy Dog story about a guy essentially wrecking a house by falling out. I'm hoping that happens. Like he's like slams into like the chest of drawers and all the plates fall on him or something like that. Oh
Christ! Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. That's a great joke. And just the punchline, just wow, what did kill him? I fucking shot him. It's like, why? He was messing up my house. That's gold. I forgot all about that joke.
Fucking love that one.
Yeah. All right. What the intruder didn't account for was that Nancy Dermott spent the majority of her adult life married to a police officer. He dragged her to every self-defense course. Yes, and as they all, you need many, many years of experience in Krav Maga to know to knee a dude in the testicles.
See, it's
surely someone untrained could not bring their knee up to groin level.
It's a secret. It's like
you know, like those ancient martial arts like taught, like where they like through fucking thousands of years they discover like all like, the fucking chakrams, like the pressure points in the body. After fucking all this time, the secret has come out that if you knee a guy in the dick, it hurts.
Yeah, what people don't know, I'm just picturing Steven Seagal just reading through this story going, yeah, that was actually me that taught her that. I studied that particular knee technique in Japan with
well, those Chinese masters.
With a Chinaman in Japan, and I just sort of adapted it, gave it a little bit of Russian kind of flavor,
Oh wait, Jacob, you're not doing your proper Steve Skull. Try to sound more black.
100% feel like I'm actually in the room with the twat himself.
Yeah, sorry, that was like 2005 Seagal. These days it'll be like, yeah, I've basically got to make him sound like an African American stereotype, despite being whatever he is, not black.
Well,
you can't watch your six.
There's many ways you can describe Steven Seagal. One of the ways you certainly can describe him is not black.
Not black, yeah. That's it. I've got nothing else. Not black, going bald.
I'm pretty sure he's gone bald and he's just got like spending.
Yeah, I think it's just marker pen now, isn't it? Steven Seagal's hair.
Every single time he makes a film, the reason he makes so many films is he keeps paying to have hair implants.
But like, he must be getting the worst fucking hair plugs because in this day and age, and especially if you've got quite a lot of money, like hair transplants are not what they were in the fucking 90s. Like you can get good ones now. So I'm just thinking, like, where does he get his hair done? Because they are fucking clueless, those people.
Well,
that are doing Steven Seagal's hair.
Money on food.
I went to the finest place I could find, and obviously the only place you can find to get your hair done like that is Russia.
Yeah.
So I'm a nice Russian.
Well, I'm Russian myself. I'm a Russian Mongolian. Vladimir Putin, he does my hair for me. We're very close, and I taught him everything he knows. Vladimir Putin, I taught him how to ride a horse, and I told him Ukraine is asking for it.
I told him.
I said, President of Ukraine, what's wrong with you? You can't watch your six?
That video of him meeting fucking Putin is so awkward and just awful. I
told him that I heard from some guy in the subway that there were all these Nazis in the Ukraine. He said that's a good idea. I shouldn't play it. I'm like, yeah, very good. Use kung fu.
Toby, do you want to read some more super chats? This story is just who gives a shit? Like, does anyone care? And I'm not just asking you guys. I'm asking the chat as well. I'm asking the chat. Does anyone give a shit?
Jacob, because the most exciting thing that's ever happened to Jeff the Killer has just happened in this story. He's just got needed the ball by a middle-aged woman.
I know. I can't wait to see what happens next. So,
but genuinely though, I don't think people give a shit because this is not a complaint, but just an observation. Is that there are fewer than a third of the people that tuned in just to watch me dunk on mysterious Mr. Enter So, like, I don't think people care about scars of corruption.
I want to get to the end of the chapter. I want to see what happens.
Thank you very much, Welski, for the $5. You guys should read this entire series. Guaranteed content for the next 7 years or so, lol. Well, there you go. There's one person who's listening. Pimp Demon, thank you very much for the 50. It's gone again. Rona. My God, I said he was weak, but I didn't mean he was a child, and some people think he can fight Jason. Well, yeah. And thank you very much, PowerPoint Oropolis. Once again, all the stories in the popular pages column on the right are about the THX logo for some reason, apart from the "We deleted you." Really? Oh,
Yeah, there's something about this Spin Pasta wiki. It's just full of THX, THX text, which to me sounds like a cuisine.
It does.
Like, but instead of Tex-Mex, it's George Lucas's like
Sound quality.
sound company mixed with
Serve
Texan
potatoes.
cuisine. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Back to the where we left off. Where we left off last time, Jeff was getting his goldie smashed.
So as I was saying, I taught Nancy how to knee Jeff the Killer in the balls, and then I groped her because I think that's okay to do to a woman. You just grab their breasts, and even if they say no, I'm a big guy, so it's okay. God, I hate Steven Seagal so much.
Just couldn't imagine him saying it, couldn't you? It just. Ugh. Wouldn't want to meet that man at all.
I know, I do. I want to fight Steven Seagal. Just because he's supposed to be this like Aikido master and like this like.
Well, this he made up.
Basically he's like I used to teach the CIA how to fight Aikido FBI agents. I was a bodyguard for. I can't remember who he said he was a bodyguard for. Something he made up. I was a bodyguard for.
The king of Mars.
I was bodyguard for the Black Panther. Well, as in from the Black. No,
from
the Black. Someone from the Black Panthers militant movement in the 70s. No, like the king of Wakanda. Oh, you're a crazy person. All right. Like, that's bullshit, Steven. You made that shit up.
He puts on like a fucking a balaclava and then like a kitty headband. He goes, "I am the Black Panther." It's like, God, he's really lost it.
Well, considering the last person I was meant to have a fight with, abandoned it and while calling me a coward, I would definitely like to fight Steven Seagal. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I thought he abandoned it because he can control his little baby legs and he kept just shitting himself. That's how I remember it. I'm not entirely sure, but didn't he just like shit himself constantly on camera, and then he just rolled around it and started eating his own poop?
See, I'm not sure if we're still about the same guy or you're back on Steven Seagal now. Steven Seagal did void his bowels when he was choked out on a movie set.
Really?
How do you live with that? How do you shit yourself and still have an ego?
It's like, what's the same thing? Like, he's like,
nobody can choke me out.
Maybe it's part of his it's part of his martial arts. Like, it's called the hidden skunk move.
So I'm a dangerous man. I've studied the poop defense. Nobody can shit like me.
It's like the prison defense. Like, if you're in prison, first thing you do is you shit yourself so no one wants to touch you.
Jacob, I'm about to send you a really
That's
funny
going to be in
thing.
this next movie when he's like a former fucking soldier who has to go to prison and shits himself.
You need to look at that because I fucking cracked up when I saw that.
Thank you, Peter, for the $4.99. Speaking of George Lucas, apparently he actually believed the world was going to end in 2012. That explains a lot about him, doesn't it? Was he like, oh shit, time's running out. I have to ruin Star Wars now while there's still time.
I have to do it now.
Jump ship. Fucking move aside.
I have to make more money before I die.
I always find that very funny. People are like, oh, Disney ruined Star Wars. Yeah, because it was in great hands before.
Yeah.
Not to say Disney Star Wars is good. It isn't.
Here's
a controversial take. Star Wars was always crap.
It's yeah.
Like the first two are good. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's watching Red Letter Media. I watched the whole review on Rogue One, and it's so funny.
It broke new ground.
They broke new ground. There was no title crawl. They broke new ground.
I love the way Jay immediately corpses, like fully breaks character after Mike just shouts it broke new ground. And just hear Rich in the background just creasing up.
Oh, but
they are the funniest fucking people on the internet, those three.
They are brilliant.
Nick, speaking of Star Wars, have you heard about there's a new Star Wars Lego game?
Yeah, the one that's come. All of the 9 games on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So someone found something out interesting. It's like the game apparently has some really it's actually a pretty good like hack and slash Devil May Cry-esque sort of fighting game, action game.
All right.
And yeah, they found training dummies in it. They're called the Younglings. Children are invincible in that game, so you can pull off some sick combos and air juggle children in the game. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
Like, let me show you how to do this, and it's like fucking doing some DMC-esque sort of fighting stuff, but you're just air juggling a child.
It's a good job that Sean Connery didn't realize Steven Seagal had accidentally broken his wrist, because I think Sean Connery would lay Steven Seagal out, to be honest. Do you guys know Sean Connery competed in Mr. Universe?
Oh yeah, I remember it.
That's fucking cool.
Did he win?
No, he did not, but still, he competed in Mr. Universe. It's pretty crazy.
That's pretty cool. What a dude.
Yeah, that's a Chad move to like compete in one of the biggest bodybuilding competitions.
Chad move.
Yeah. You know who appeared in Zardos?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and then he went on to make the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
And it ended his acting career.
Yeah.
Well, a high note.
Yeah, I mean, once you've hit the pinnacle of cinema, why keep acting?
Yeah.
Once you've fought the giant CGI Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde monster.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of when Ian McKellen almost quit acting on the set of The Hobbit because it was all green screen.
Yeah, didn't he fucking
he
cry?
He hated it. Yeah, he
basically
he almost quit acting because of it, dude.
Yeah.
Because he was so depressed. It was like nothing, none on the field, all on the green screen. And that's what most films are like these days. They are losing the touch of, actually being out there, because you get paid for being all these great movies, but they're all just in front of a green screen. So how great can they really be? I don't know. It's just
times, man. The metaverse is coming through.
Apparently, according to people that work for Mark Zuckerberg,
he's
people,
quote unquote.
At the moment. Yeah, he's becoming insufferable at the moment because all he wants to talk about is the metaverse. That's all he wants to talk about. Guys,
well, it's better than before when all he wanted to do was talk about how he had a style that was completely unblockable.
I mean,
anyone remember that episode of South Park with Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
It's like, you should not have tried to block me. Now you are dead on the floor. The weird, robot voice. Fucking love South Park. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg's a piece of shit. The guy annoys the hell out of me.
I think we all know that.
Like, he has creepy energy. The other day, somebody asked me about Phantom Strider, and I was like, he gives me that same vibe that Mark Zuckerberg gives me.
Is it just maybe does Mark Zuckerberg, he wants to create the metaverse? Is it because he wants to connect with the rest of his AI companions? Because he's clearly he
just basically played
T was like T8 or something. He looks like a fucking animatronic with fake skin. I feel like dogs will bark at him if he's walking past them.
I was really impressed by the Madame Tussauds wax figure of him because it's actually more lifelike. Like, if you put the two together, he looks like the wax dummy, and I think that's amazing. Like, their skill at wax model making is so high and so lifelike, they couldn't make something that looks as synthetic as the real Mark Zuckerberg. Look it up, guys, like the Zuckerberg Madame Tussauds figure, because it honestly looks more human than the real one does. Thank you, Peter, for the $4.99. Lucas also admitted that a lot of Star Wars was inspired by Dune. Something tells me that Frank Herbert should have gotten royalty payments. I mean, most good ideas are stolen, but yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, look at Warhammer 40k is mostly shit stolen from Dune.
In the original script for Phantom Menace, they literally mentioned like spice mining at one point. So it's just placeholder dialogue for the auditions, but I was just like, dude, come on. Brain Flare, thank you for the $5 Hot take: Star Wars is the inferior Dune. No, it's not a. Well, it's perhaps a hot take in general, but not to me. Dune is way fucking better than Star Wars.
Still haven't seen it, unfortunately. I haven't seen a lot of movies. I need to go see the cinema. My voice, oh god, my voice.
But yeah, my whole thing about Star Wars, because somebody's asking like, oh no, Disney ruined it. The prequels aren't that bad. I'm like, yeah, they are. But also, it's not just the prequels. It's like the weird special edition changes that happened like every fucking year.
Oh. Yeah.
What's the point where
do you want a weird like superfluous scene of Jabba the Hutt that doesn't need to be here because every piece of information is actually conveyed in the Greedo scene already? There you didn't want it. Too bad. Here it is.
the Greedo scene, like
you want Darth Vader? You want Darth Vader to go no before throwing the Emperor down a chef? No, you think that'd be the worst thing ever? Well, here it is in the movie. You want Greedo to say a random made-up word with no subtitles at the end of the scene that was never there before? You want just a random extra bit of voice acting? Why would I want that? What's he gonna say? Doesn't matter. He's gonna say made-up. He's gonna say McClunky. Why is he gonna do that, George? George, why is he gonna say McClunky? Well, I just thought it'd be good if he said McClunky, you know. No, George. Why is Greedo gonna say?
Stop.
Why is he going to say McClunky?
It's a clearly different voice.
Yeah, it like, sounds like the audio quality and everything's completely different.
Oh, McClunky. It's like,
yeah, honestly, it's like Mr. Black.
Yeah. Also the fact that fucking Han Solo's head just shifts like 6 inches to the side.
Yeah,
it doesn't
awful.
tilt his head. It just moves.
Awful business. And yeah, the prequels are awful. And just because there's people who like them now because they grew up with them or whatever, doesn't change that they're awful. They're fucking rotten.
Everyone's saying McClunky, so that's probably the made-up word that he came up with. Everyone in the
McClunky.
chat is saying McClunky.
Yeah.
Fucking Jedi rocks.
McClunky's a stupid word.
I will say, in the prequels' defense, they were at least a cohesive vision. Where with a beginning, middle, and end. You know what I mean? Like they at least had that going for them. It was a person trying to tell a story. It was a horribly boring and convoluted story, but Thank you, Pimp Demon, for the Norwegian krona. What does he say? I'm so glad Captain Rex isn't a major character in the live-action Star Wars stuff. Yeah, I don't really know the any of the. Revenge of the Sith is the worst one. Someone's saying in the chat. Oh, I love Revenge of the Sith. No, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's dreadful. It's exactly the same as Attack of the Clones, except it's longer and the acting's worse. That's the one that's like, if from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. I'm like, come on, emote, please. Please just emote. Please put some passion into your lines.
But Jacob, I love that line because when I was working there with a guy,
you came here to kill me.
But no, I was talking to my mate at work. We were talking about Star Wars because like the new ones, how crap they were, and he did that line of like from my point of view, the Jedi. I just wanted Obi-Wan to turn to him and go like, how are the Jedi evil? And him to turn and the people like, well, a Jedi just killed all those younglings. You can have a point.
It's got me there. Well, the thing is as well, like they're not evil; they're just like incompetent and outdated. And I did like the kind of somewhat subversive idea that, like, oh, actually, the
Jedi are relatively past.
Yeah, and they were actually pretty outdated and stupid, and the whole thing was pretty avoidable. And I was like, yeah, that's interesting. Too bad the movies suck. Thank you, Mike K27. For the $9.99 US. McClunky isn't subtitled because it's a slur. Changed my mind. Yeah, he fully calls Han Solo the N-word. Like, should we even be saying McClunky? It's in another language, but it's still the N-word.
Worst part of the
That's right, Nerf herder.
objectively sand.
What up,
Jacob,
Mama Punky?
here is the thing. I don't like sand. It's coarse. It's rough.
Right,
It's irritating. It gets everywhere.
straight up, my ass crack. That'd be great if you just kept going on. It gets like really far up your crack. Like it might, like have you seen? There's no trees on that planet. You have to wipe your ass with more sand. It it gets it just keeps looking at her directly in the eyes while it just keeps talking about.
Do you think that's the reason why Obi-Wan elected to put Luke and Leia on the Tatooine because it's full of sand?
Well,
Do you think he
he's like,
somehow knew
okay, and these are
that?
the twins. Where is he going to look? Well, he fucking hates this place. It's full of sand, so he's never going to look there.
Exactly. There you go. So,
Oh, great.
shall we go back to the story, Jacob?
Yeah.
Because every time you seem to read up this one bit, you seem to want to do Steve a cigar.
Yeah. Well,
It goes off from there.
Well, let's not go back to the story because apparently we're not supposed to do it without Gemma because I meant to do it all four of us or not, or none of us was the agreement, which I kind of forgot about. So.
Okay. So just talk shit and then come. Right. So this, like, I reckon if we're gonna like put a pin in this and come back to it, I think remembering Jeff the Killer getting like nailed in the nuts.
That's a good,
nailed
you know.
Or like Gemma would be like, you fucking went on without me, and Jeff got like fucking his nuts crushed.
He got his nuts nutted.
Yeah, but that'd be good. She headbutted him with the dick.
Yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna say goodnight.
You sound tired and hungry.
Oh well, you know, I'm hungry. Doesn't really matter. There's no food, but I am at the very least sleepy, so I'm gonna lie down. But thanks everybody for coming. As always, these are a lot of fun, just talking shit and being silly. So we didn't read a lot of the story, but turns out we weren't supposed to. So that's actually worked out nicely.